We touched on this briefly when we were talking about economy, but I want to talk about migration, because there is a big Albanian community in Germany. There is still a problem with Albanians seeking asylum in Europe, although this has dropped a lot, both in the UK and in other countries in Europe. In recent months, it's dropped quite a lot, which is good. You also have a lot of doctors and nurses from Albania in Germany as well. What is the situation in terms of asylum with Germany now? Are you still getting lots of Albanians, or have you seen a drop like elsewhere?
There has been a huge drop. I think this has reduced the pressure actually to seek asylum, because the acknowledgement rate for asylum is basically for Albanians almost zero. Yeah. And we have a very good program with the Albanian government to return. We think we're now talking about, let's say, several hundred a year that are being brought back. Asylum seekers that have been rejected and they have no permission actually to stay longer in Germany. And we have programs where we help them actually to establish themselves, settle themselves once they come back here. Some of them have stayed for a longer time in Germany, but they get some funding actually to start a new life here in Albania. And I think that has been quite promising. The Albanian government has been very, very helpful. It's one of the few countries in the world where it works to that extent, really good. And from my point of view, this is, of course, now, apart from asylum seekers, a model we could follow in the area of work migration, yeah. As you mentioned, lots of doctors and nurses are working in Germany, and what we would like to see is giving them a perspective also to return after some time, or at least to make their knowledge, let's say, if we're not talking about doctors and nurses, but let's say engineers, they could open branches of their companies. There are successful Albanians in Germany. They could open branches here. We're talking about direct investment, because I think direct investment and create jobs here in Albania is the best answer to brain drain. If people feel that they have a perspective here, a life perspective, and I feel this consideration, should I go or should I stay, is becoming increasingly relevant once people have children. That's what I feel. Once they have 1, 2, 3-year-old children, and then they look into the future.
That's when a lot of my Albanian friends have left, when they've had children, then they leave.
So to try to open perspectives here, to create job possibilities, also through those who have left already. I think there's no way we can prohibit them from coming to Germany. I mean, we cannot on one hand ask for freedom of movement of persons and goods, etc. within
but not you.
Exactly. And within the European Union, we want also a transfer of knowledge, etc., and young people actually to study abroad, for example, acquire different experiences abroad. So I think migration is not a problem as such. It's basically, I think, a good thing for the exchange of experiences, but it cannot be one-sided and unilateral, just in one direction. It should be sort of reciprocal.
Yes. And I guess in your position as well, you must meet a lot of Albanian people as a part of your day-to-day work. And how do you respond to people when they say, I want to leave, there's no future here, there's no opportunities? I always try and say to people, you have to make opportunities, the grass isn't always greener, but that's all very easy for me to say as a foreigner who can live almost anywhere, So how do you try and encourage people to stay?
That depends a little bit on the perspective. Because my feeling is some are, when they talk to me, they are already decided, And then someone who is already on a packed suitcase, to tell them it's not a good idea. You know, it's not. Also, Germany, for example, we have so much. There's so much misconceptions about Germany. Also, not here in Albania, but more so in countries where I worked, also Afghanistan, for example, that we felt the need actually to establish a website, Rumors About Germany. Yeah? And you don't get automatically a Mercedes-Benz when you arrive in Germany. You don't get a house and a bride. I think this Albanians...
We love, but this is what people... And sorry to interrupt you, but I was saying this when there were so many Albanians going to the UK, and they see these things on TikTok, the fancy cars, and I'm like, my dear, you're going to be sleeping 12 people in a room. You're not going to be able to get healthcare. Nothing. You won't exist. It's not like this,
Yeah, so you have to create sort of realistic expectations from those who want to leave. But those who are more in the process of consideration, I would say, also look at the changes you mentioned at the beginning, the changes you have seen only in the last 6 years. And I promise really that my government will do everything that this trend, this dynamic, this momentum of transformation here in the country will continue. And that, as I said, it's not useful actually to name precise dates, but in the next 10 to 15 years, this will be a different country.
Yes.
And a country that is very worthwhile living. I mean, there's a reason why so many tourists come here, yeah? Mm-hmm. And I understand...
And foreigners like me.
Exactly. And I personally love to live here, because the country has really this incredible blend of Mediterranean climate, Mediterranean culture, eating culture as well, hospitality, friendliness. These are not stereotypes. It's something I can feel, yeah?
Yes.
And that people probably miss when they go abroad, yeah.
Yes, especially if you're from our part of the world, which is not quite as friendly or known for its good weather, or
Exactly.